Hey gang, it's Mark Yagi. Hope you're doing well. What I've got on the screen in front of you is a Tesla weekly chart. And if you were holding Tesla, if you've been a big believer in Elon Musk, and I'm a big believer in a lot of the things that's going on at Tesla and SpaceX, this had to be a disappointing thing for you. But you know, Tesla has been disappointing us for a couple of years. It's why I'm essentially not in the stock anymore. I have a little teeny weeny position in one of my accounts, but mostly I've been out of this stock. And there's been a reason why. And if you've been following the market pulse and you've heard me talk about Tesla, a lot of people ask me about it every week. And I'm like, there isn't a reason to buy Tesla. Like if you take away the candle from yesterday or from this week, you can look at this stock. I mean, there's way more down weeks than up weeks as the stock falls below its 10-week moving average, which is like the 50-day moving average. So there hasn't been a lot of reasons to buy it. And a lot of people are like, well, you can buy it cheaper now because it's worth a gazillion dollars. Yeah, it may be, but the price tells the story, right? The story doesn't tell the story. So you can love the CEO, you can love the team, you can love the products, you can love full self-driving, you can love all the fundamental information like Optimus, this robot is going to, be doing our laundry and mowing our yard and all that kind of stuff. That's all great story, but it doesn't translate to the price you pay or the price you receive on the screen. That's the unfortunate part. Because if everything were about the story, then everything would be just great. We would just love the stories and people would be great storytellers. But the problem is you get these candles like this. So Tesla had earnings this week. I gave a little warning on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever it was, and it said, listen, be deep in the money or in cash on Tesla because you've got to protect the downside. Well, I didn't know how much downside there would be, and there was a lot. Like this stock was down 15% yesterday. And this week it's down a lot. It's down, 18, 19%. And it's at the bottom of its range. You can look at this. Today's Friday afternoon. You can look at it. It's at the bottom of the range. That is not a healthy candle. This is a candle that wiped out, I don't know, three months, 2.5, 3 months of gains, right? In 1 week, actually more like 1 day. And so you have to be giving a nod to risk management on every trade. You have to have a trading plan. You have to play defense. I know it sucks. It's better to be, and it's more fun to listen to the great story about, full self-driving and how you don't have to touch the wheel or the pedals or whatever. That's all great. But this stock price doesn't say that. Now, here's my take on the call. And I didn't listen to the whole call, I'll be honest, but I did get the gig on the call. And that is, I felt from my sources that the call was very nonchalant, right? Elon Musk wasn't feeling well or whatever the reason was. The team was like kind of nonchalant. They were talking about rolling out Optimus that, it's a little bit more challenging than they thought. Nothing bad news, right? But their sales were way up. But their margins were way down. When a company is squeezing its margins, that's a problem. They're selling tons of cars and they're getting tons of top line, but when their margins get squeezed, that's profitability. So they were nonchalant on, the increase in the number of cars that they were going to be selling or the solar wall. It was just kind of now, you know what? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Maybe they did that because SpaceX and Tesla, they want to merge them and they want a cheaper price on Tesla. And if they can scare people out of the stock, then they get a cheaper price on Tesla when they do a merger. I don't know. Maybe. I'm just saying it was a nonchalant call. So let me just read the chart for you. So you see this swing point here at around 340. It blew through that swing point. Now, it's not doing it. The good thing is, there's not a lot of good things, but the good thing is it's not doing it on huge volume. It's at 26% greater than average weekly volume. Okay, that's not 100% greater than, it's not 50%, it's 26% greater than average volume. Okay, it's more than average, but it's not gigantic. So that's the good thing about this candle. The bad thing about the candle is that right now, as we sit here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time on Friday, we're trading at the exact bottom of this candle for the week, right? That's bad. That means the sellers are in charge. Let's put it on a daily, okay? I want to show you on a daily what this stock looks like. And there's a lot of lines that I draw on the chart. First of all, this is long-term downtrend line, right? Which is still in place, right? Every time it gets to that line or close to it, it kind of rejects it and comes back down the other side. And then there's a line here at 337. You saw that, I think, on the other chart. It blew through that line. That's kind of a last swing point. Stocks like to test those swing points. If they test them on high volume, I've noticed that they go a lot lower. If they test them on low volume, it's kind of like a ping pong ball. It bounces off it, right? But right now it's like a medicine ball falling through the floor and it's going lower, right? Where is it going? You know what? I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know where it's going. But if anything about my chart reading for the last 25 years is correct, it's going into this area, this 288, 270 something level, right? This big swing point right here, 273.21. 273.21 is acting like a magnet. See, you don't even see it on this chart because it was so far ago, right? It's like a little magnet pulling the stock down to it. And stocks like to go back to where they had support or where they made a big turnaround or where there was a swing point. And that's this 273.21. And the reason I say this one and not any of these down here is because this one was the last biggest candle. Okay, now this is on a daily, so I'll just expand it a little bit. It's the last biggest candle. See how much volume there is there? So that's, I think, where a lot of people were deciding who's going to be in charge here for the next little while. And the buyers got in charge there. It did a reversal candle there. And it went all the way up from June of last year all the way up to now. Okay, actually, June, looks like maybe June of 2024. So anyway, that's the magnet that I see on the chart. Shorter term, I think there's a lot of pain with this stock because of the volume coming into this swing point. It's blowing away the volume on that swing point, which tells you that the sellers are in charge. They don't care. They're getting rid of it because they know that it may be going down to a lower strike price. So what are the lessons? Well, listen, I'm not a great trader. I'll admit it. I'm okay, but I'm a pretty good chart reader. And I can tell you that it's all about probabilities, and I have a good system, and my system is basically made, I think, because I'm not a great trader, right? It's a way to say I'm going to get income from good stocks. And when stocks aren't good anymore, or when they start to turn, like Tesla has been warning us for a long time, it's time to use a system, a trading plan, a set of rules, a way to get out of a stock. A way to have some kind of way to get your brain around it rather than, oh, it's a good company, it'll come back. And if you're in Tesla right now, you're saying that to yourself and you know it, right? You know it, I know it, the American people know it. You're saying, oh, it's a good company, it'll come back. Elon Musk, never bet again, Elon. You're saying all these things to yourself. And those things to yourself might be right in 10 years or 5 years, but they're not right now. They're just justifications that you could stay in the stock while it goes lower. And then it's going to go so low. Trust me, I know this. It could go so low. I don't know if it will or not, but it could go so low that you finally throw in the towel at the exact wrong time. When it gets to that 273 or 277 price, you're like, screw it. I'm not going to make any more money on this thing. I've held it long enough. Martha, I'm out. And then you get out of the stock, and then Martha yells at you for the rest of your life because that's the time, that it was reversing. So, number one, if you held through earnings and you didn't protect yourself on the downside, I hope you're subscribed to this channel because I tried to warn you. Number two, if you did sit through the downside and you had protected yourself and it wasn't enough, that's okay, but you should have a circuit breaker in your trading plan that gets you out. Third, if you're sitting on this stock and hoping that you're going to ride it down and it's going to bounce back up because it always has, it might be a long time. It might be Tuesday, but it might be a long time. And that's dead money at this point. And if you've got so much into this that you've made a bunch of money because it was at $15 when you bought it 10 years ago, great. But you should be creating income on your stock. That's my take on how you should approach investing. Because look, you and I, we're the little people, right? We're not the gigantic money slinging around billions of dollars, moving these shares around. That's what happened yesterday. This was not your Aunt Susie's candle, as Bill O'Neill used to say, right? This is a candle that's significant with big money moving it. Okay? So you have to listen to that candle. That candle is telling you there's more pain ahead, right? So you should have a system. You should have a way of having a set of rules to get in and out of a stock. Okay, you get my point. My point is, please, 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 now look at your other positions and enter the right stock. And Tesla could be the right stock. It's a great company, sure. It's just not the right stock maybe right now. It was for a while. In the right market. We don't have the right market. Our market is yellow. I just did a market pulse. Maybe you should watch it. About what the market is saying to us. It's been yellow and red and green and like all over the place, head faking us for a couple of months now, at least, telling us that there's no direction and that we shouldn't be trying to pick the bottoms. If that's what you're trying to do with Tesla, there's only one person that picks the bottom. There's only one, and it's not you and it's not me probably. Unless you're so smart, and if you are, please give me a little something in the DMs here or whatever they call in the comments. And let me know exactly when the bottom is going to be so I can buy it and I can be with you in buying it. But you're going to buy it. It's already $1 less than when I started this video. And maybe a lot of people thought that was the bottom because there's a lot of buyers. There's a buyer for every seller. So don't be trying to do that. So the right stock in the right market at the right spot on the chart. There isn't a spot on the chart that you could have bought this for a long time now, right? And then you squeeze the juice. Well, if you're in Tesla or if you own it, you should be selling calls against it, I believe, because that's the way you create income when the stock is going sideways or when it's going up or when it's going down. It's just you're not going to be able to create a lot of income that covers an 18% move to the downside. All right, that's enough from me. I'll see you on the next video. Please be careful out there. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. The information you just heard is for education and information. This is not financial advice.